as a local pastor, I just want you to know, I never disconnect any decision we make in regards to spending from the local church context. I envision every time we decide we're going to spend some money, I see it connected to that single mom in the church who has 3 kids and on a tight income, and she just with joy brings a tithe and offering to church. And out of that has come something that's given to our Foursquare efforts together. And boy, I steward that in that light, and we do as a board and as a leadership team and as our supervisors and all of the committees, finances of the committees that we have, that we see the potential of all of that that's been given for eternal purposes. And we're really going to give not only account before Jesus, but we see the joy in bringing an account to you in regards to that. So this is an us kind of matter, and we know that funding our larger corporate effort in terms of Foursquare is primarily because of the tithe that's given through the local churches. That's our primary funding model. But we had something called the Reimagine take place a few years back. So in essence, we've taken the goods and services, or the ways that we work together in missions and church multiplication, leadership development, church health, transitions, insurance, all that we do together as a denomination. We're doing that now with, in essence, 50% less, 40% less. And so we live within that. We're not saying that as a negative thing. We're just stewarding that. But there are things now, decisions being made around that, where we have to say no to things, we say yes to things, and how can we maximize that which we have and that we're stewarding together. And so we've had a number of questions come up recently in the last couple of years, but with almost a rising frequency of both not only the number of people asking the questions, but the number of questions themselves about, will we ever revisit the return of the tithe? Will we ever reconsider that? Will we ever reconsider the percentage that's returned? And in Anaheim at our business sessions, many went to the mic and asked questions directly related to that. And so the short answer is, at this time, we are not. We're not revisiting that as a decision. But we hear the questions, we hear the comments and the suggestions, even recommendations. But what if I don't want to have my return? What if we don't want that return back to us? What if we would like to reallocate that back to some of our Foursquare efforts together? And so we've made a decision as a board in response to that, a lot of that feedback, to create an opportunity that you'll see now in this disbursement of the return of the tithe. All the information that you've been given there, specific to that, is this new facet where you can choose to leave a percentage of that, the whole of it or parts of it, in one of 4 categories. You can allocate it to 1, new global workers and projects. That's our Foursquare missions. You can allocate it to new pastors and churches. That's our Foursquare Multiply. Or you can allocate it to transitions for senior pastors and restarting churches. That's our church health and transformation. Or you could allocate it towards next generation ministry. So student ministries and LPU and other ministries that aim directly at the next gen. So those are 4 buckets, if you will, that you could allocate part of your return or all of your return of the tithe, if you so desire, in one of those 4 categories. And we just wanted to give opportunity for that. Like, how could that be simplified? How could that be possible? If that's in your heart to do that and you want to do that. Obviously, we're always going to just consider every season we're in, and we're going to look at the future, but we've started some conversations in Anaheim that we're going to need to continue. And that centers around our funding model, how we're resourcing our missionaries, how we're planting churches, how we're caring for pastors and leaders, how we're serving our churches, and the myriad of ways that we do with our goods and services. So I just want you to be aware of that our heart is to have those conversations. We've begun those, and we will continue to facilitate those. But in the short term, a decision was made just to give options for people if they want to do something different with their return of the tithe, and thus this letter. But I want to do 2 things. I want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for your faithfulness. I'm not coming to this video with any kind of hidden motive. God's grace and your generosity, faithfulness, we're on budget. We're in the dog days of summer. We're on budget. Thank you. for your faithfulness. God has been really good and gracious in his provision, and he does that through us. And then also, I just want to encourage you as pastors and leaders to serve with faith and boldness in this area of the fiduciary life of the church, this kingdom reality that is very spiritual and practical, and to be unapologetic and unafraid to equip people to walk in freedom and the fullness of God's blessing when it comes to the issue of stewardship, generosity, finances, money, heart issues. And I want to encourage you as pastors, as shepherds, love your flock enough to preach the whole counsel of God with grace and wisdom, but with boldness and truth. So we love you, praying for you, grateful for you. God bless.